Hi and welcome back to another comic book corner with Ghost Critic. As usual, a week full of surprises, some good stuff, some disappointing stuff. Let's kick it right off with Buffy number 39. As with like the Buffy series, this is the penultimate issue in Joss Whedon's series 8 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and you always find at the end of every series, whether it's in television or whether it's in the comic books, that the penultimate issue is always the big fight, and we're not disappointed here either. As with the last arc, I was getting very bored with it. I didn't know where it was going. There were all these big ideas that the writers were playing about with, and it was getting lost. There was too much going on, and so I kind of lost interest. But you know, it's a fight issue. You know, this is Buffy versus Angel. I'm not quite sure why. Again, it's been a bit of a mess of a story arc for me. You've got shock deaths in there. People, you know, I mean, at the moment we don't know whether they're going to die or not, but they look pretty much dead to me. But you never know, they might find a way of bringing them back somehow. And you know, Buffy's basically just had enough now. She will do anything, and she does what is probably the worst thing. I'm not going to put any spoilers in here, but from what I've read before, I'm sure what she's done isn't a good thing. And it's certainly affected Willow in a very big way, and you know, all the magic users within the Buffy universe. Artwork, I always find Buffy's artwork to be very, very goofy. It's kind of a goofy artwork, but it works for this Buffy universe. I had a good time with it. But at the same time, I'm quite happy that we're coming to the end of this series, and I believe that Buffy's going on hiatus for a while, and then we're going to come back with series 9. Next up, and I was stoked about last issue, I really was, but unfortunately it's gone back to the norm of being just average, if not below. Brightest Day, number 15, or Whatever Happened to the Martian Manhunter. Now, I'm sure he's a great character, John Johns, and as an encapsulated story, it could be like a filler between, you know, story arcs. This worked adequately. It was. This is the Martian Manhunter, and we already realise from a couple of issues back that what he is experiencing now isn't real. This is all in his head, and it's his evil nemesis wife. Again, it's been so long since we've seen the Martian Manhunter that you tend to forget what has happened. You remember the big thing, but you don't remember the details, and I think that's what the problem is, and still is, with this title. There are too many character plot lines going through where it can only give it so much time. And so, you know, like the last issue, it was all about Boston Brand, it was all about the White Lantern ring. Now that's been completely forgotten, and we're all basing our concentration on the Martian Manhunter. What happens here doesn't seem in any way to be part of this Brightest Day event. There doesn't, at least to me, appear to be any connections. And that's why I find within the Brightest Day event, it's a pretty poor issue. Especially after me hyping it up last week. I really enjoyed last week's. The artwork was fantastic. The artwork in this, it's all over the place. You just have to read the credits and you can see how many artists are on this title. And you know what? There are too many, and it shows. Get rid of some of them. Let's just stick to just a core 2 or 3, but there are hundreds. There's literally hundreds of names written on there, and it does show that, you know, people are, you know, styles are bashing against each other, and it just doesn't work. Right at the very end, in Brightest Day fashion, we get taken away from the main storyline of Martian Manhunter, and we're in the JLAD headquarters. Firestorm has just broken in, and he's telling everyone that he's going to destroy the universe. That's your big cliffhanger, apart from the little bit at the bottom where it says next, and it's got the origin of Aqualad. Am I excited about next issue? Am I dying to pick it up and read it? No, not really. And talking about the end of an event, and finally, it's ShadowLand, 5 of 5. This for me was a particularly unfulfilling conclusion. I just didn't... There's something, I'm empty. I've said this on my Twitter account. There's an emptiness about this. It just didn't finish how it should have. Yes, we had the final battle, if you want to call it that, because Daredevil possessed by the beast, the demon. He's already done away with all the Avengers and everyone and all the lower level superheroes, the street level heroes. He's already decimated them pretty much. And it's that whiny fat ass Foggy who's like, oh, I know you're still in there. Oh, please. I know you can do it, Matt. And suddenly, you know, everything everyone else has said to him couldn't get through, but whiny Foggy's voice, yes, gets through to him. Gives it a chance for Iron Fist to use his chi power and forces the beast out. The only thing I can say was good about this, I know Tan has got his critics, but I really like the artwork in this. It's clear, it's crisp, it does what it needs to do, and I thoroughly enjoyed that part of it. Unfortunately, storytelling wise, bit of a no. Shame, and I'll get onto this in the next title, which you've obviously probably worked out already is going to be Daredevil number 512, but I'm not looking forward to what's coming. And without further ado, yes, Daredevil 512. Great cover, by the way. I love that. And the artwork inside again, right up my street. I'm loving the detailed of it. But this is basically the aftermath of ShadowLand 5. It's the clear up. Questions are being asked and there are no answers. Where is Matt Murdock? Where is he gone? Who is this mysterious man that's leaping from, you know, rooftop to rooftop? But Iron Fist and Power Man C. And it's Black Panther, and he is basically taking over the reins as the man without fear from the next issue. And I'm really disappointed because I'm not interested, and I do love this title so much. I'm going to try it. I'm not going to say no straight away, but I will give it a go. Elsewhere in this title, we've got Foggy, Dakota and Becky. They're all having a bit of argument about, you know, Matt has been an absolute ass, whether he was possessed or not. And it's nice to see right at the end where we have Matt Murdock getting off in the middle of nowhere, and he knows that, you know, even though he was possessed by this beast and made him do horrendous things, it was his decision that was the catalyst when he killed Bullseye. He was not fully beasted, possessed at that time, and it was Matt Murdock's decision to kill Bullseye. He'd had enough at that point, but that was a line he shouldn't have crossed. It was very nicely done. I much appreciated this end of the ShadowLand series than the actual mini event series that went on. Let's see what happens afterwards. And lastly, and my pick of the week, it is, I know this did come out last week, but I wasn't sure whether I wanted to take on another Bat title. Oh, I am so picking this up. Batwoman number 0. this is so great. This is such a great setup for anyone who wants to get into Batwoman. The only part that I'd seen of this woman was, I think it was in the 51 or the 52 series, I can't remember which one it was. And I'd seen glimpses of her there where I think she was gradually being introduced into the DC universe. And you know, I didn't dislike her, I didn't get really excited about the idea, and that's why I didn't pick this up for a week. I read a few reviews and everyone gave it glowing reports. I thought, right, okay, I'll give it a go. Fantastic. If you want to get into this, it's a perfect jumping in point. We have Batman, Bruce Wayne, checking out Batwoman. He's not sure whether Batwoman is Kate Kane, so he's been following her for the last X amount of days. And the panelling on this is just so clever. Top part of the panel is Batwoman fighting the religion of crime down on the docks, and Batman is watching all her fighting techniques, and you know, basically critiquing her, thinking, oh, is she going to be able to cope on her own? And then the bottom part of the pages is her personal life. This was the bit that most intrigued me, not knowing the history of Batwoman and Cat Kane. And you know, you find out there have been family deaths. She's got a brother that it doesn't look like she talks about, so there's a mystery behind that. It was just such a joy to read. Like I said, beautiful panel work, artwork is just divine, story nigh on perfect. I am picking this one up for sure, and I think if you're any fan of the Bat family and you want another title to add on to the 10 or 20 so that's going on at the moment, then I most definitely would pick this up. Anyway, that's it for this week. Ghost Critic out. Please rate, subscribe. If you hate it, rate it. If you like it, give it a tick. Till next week. Bye bye.